I'm Ronnie Simpson, the assistant curator of Mead Gallery in Warwick Arts Centre, and we're here to look at our current exhibition of Jonas Mekas called Brief Glimpses of Beauty. Jonas Mekas is one of the most important experimental filmmakers of the 20th century. He's influenced generations of filmmakers. He's captured some amazing work from the avant-garde, arts avant-garde in the 60s and 70s, including some work by John Lennon and Andy Warhol. But his main body of work was his personal diaries, which he comes from Lithuania. He's an emigre from Lithuania, and he arrived in the States in the 50s. And straight away he picked up a Bolex camera, film camera, and every day he carried this camera around and filmed his daily life. And he's been doing that ever since, from the 50s to the present day. He carries on filming. He's in his 80s now, and he's filming his everyday life, the small personal things, insignificant things almost, is what is kind of his specialisation. The film behind me is called As I Was Moving Along, I Caught Brief Glimpses of Beauty. It's one of Mekas' latest films, and this is the film that covers his life from when he first got married up until when he was actually going through difficulties in his marriage and facing, which subsequently ended in divorce. I seen this film at the Venice Biennale a year ago now, and I think it was the first time I had stayed in a gallery looked at a piece of work for 4.5 hours. I actually stayed in the gallery a whole day, you know, looking at all the different films in the exhibition, because I was so moved to see something so personal. Venice was, you know, hundreds and hundreds of exhibitions and artworks, and here within that, there's a tiny exhibition, and it was like a jewel within the sea of work desperately trying to get your attention. And here we had something really simple and personal, and it reminds you of your own. It reminded me of my own family, and it's a portrait of a man an 80-year-old man looking back over his life, in a very loving way. Okay, this film covers it's called Scenes from the Life of Andy Warhol, and covers some incredibly important period in Andy Warhol's life, from when he was just starting to become incredibly well known through his kind of big exhibitions in New York. Mekas worked with Andy Warhol for years and years. He first introduced his films in a film club that Mekas set up in New York. And so he was kind of sort of one of Andy Warhol's kind of main collaborators at the beginning of his career. It's got amazing material in here, kind of meeting incredible artists in the New York art scene at the time, through to Andy Warhol teaching the Kennedy's children how to film. This film features scenes from the life of John Lennon. Again, amazing documentation of an important period. John Lennon and Yoko Ono were great friends of Jonas Mekas. So Jonas Mekas had this amazing entry into their life, and this is about it's called Happy Birthday to John, and it's about his birthday party, and it's them singing Happy Birthday to John Lennon. It goes, again, like the Warhol film, it goes through a whole period of John's life, to the point where, again, suddenly John Lennon's shot, and they're, again, at the funeral of John Lennon. It's very rare footage, in a way. It's footage that you don't see of John Lennon. Again, the most personal side to John Lennon and Yoko Ono, as well as some of their kind of more performative pieces, like showing their arses in public, which was one of Yoko's art pieces. One of the things that I think is very important about this exhibition, about the work of Jonas Mekas, is that he's captured amazing footage of a generation, very rare footage, and of incredible people, as well as the more personal side of a man himself. The other thing about Mekas is that his works seem, you must remember, for the time that the work was made, it was incredibly experimental. It's very, everything jumps about, it moves, it's very fast. Nowadays we really take that for granted, especially in the, now in the digital age with cable and the type of quality that we see on the internet, on TV. At the time when Mekas was doing this, it was absurd almost. It was just outrageous that somebody could produce work that was such bad quality in some ways, kind of visually. And now we can look at this and it actually seems very normal. And so the technique is nothing new, it's left behind almost. And what comes forth is I think the things that matter is it's how it captures a generation, how it captures the sort of the personal and the human in art. And I think in art that is actually quite unusual nowadays.